Hey everybody, Jesse from Better CNC here. I wanted to do a video going over my website. Something I insist to everyone who has a shop, everyone who's thinking about a shop, is you need to have a website. In this modern day and age, almost everyone Googles or searches for everything they need. If you don't have a website, you have no way of showing up for anyone. So I wanted to go over mine, talk a little bit about how I built it. Just so you know, I did build this myself. I did not pay someone to do it. I went through Wix.com to build it. I bought my domain through Google. It takes some time to learn and it takes some time to put it all together, but it's a cheap route to do it, and you can still come up with something pretty nice. So let's start off into sales. I want them to give them every opportunity to reach out to me. So you can see right up top, I have links where they can click to call me. They can click to email me. I've got my social media links right up here, and I've got a special page for requesting a quote that I put in multiple spots. I'd say the goal is to funnel work, not just teach them about your company, but to give them opportunities to reach out. Something I emphasize with my shop is that we're a small shop, but you can get the same benefits, the same quality of work that you expect from the big companies. Some people, when they think of smaller businesses, they think poor quality. They think there's going to be issues, a little bit sketchy. That's not the way it is here at Better CNC, and I just kind of use this big quote right here to emphasize that. You can also see towards the bottom, I have a little snippet just kind of saying we're not your normal shop. We do things differently. We do things better. That's kind of the whole spiel with me. Whatever you come up with your company, whatever your vision is, you want to try and write things that lean into that, whatever you're trying to portray to your customers. Something else, let's say part of my business is focusing on community. I want to be very accessible to all of my customers of any kind. One of my favorite anecdotes is when I was still working out of my garage, I was machining some parts that ended up at the jet propulsion labs for NASA while I was brazing together an antique clock for an older gentleman who walked in with it. So that's kind of where you'll see the direction of my website leans. It's focused on community, focused on operating differently than other shops. So on the homepage, I just have this nice picture in the back. I have a big quote. I have just a short snippet. But say people are very impatient. You want to just give them brief things to read. You don't want to put long paragraphs, at least on the front page. So the next section is kind of talking about the areas that we focus on. So we focus on, and this is intended to just draw different types of customers we want. I'm not just going to say we do aerospace work, we do oil work. Everybody does that. I'm going to say what types, like just from a different angle, what type of work we do. So to draw it for everyone, we do precision CNC machining. Most of my experience is in aerospace and defense. So I have this section to make sure I'm drawing to those customers like that, letting them know we have our background in medical, aerospace, defense work. We know how to do precision work. We know what they're looking for. We can give them the reports they want. A lot of customers that we're looking for, we also want the customers that want quick turn times. Engineers at big company like quick lead times, individuals that own smaller companies like quick turn times. And I typically very regularly work on the weekends. So I figured I'd turn that into a little thing, letting people know that we do work over the weekends. If you have a small job, a snippet job, we'll go over that. But say a lot of shops don't do that kind of thing. So I wanted to lean into that and let people know. And part of my accessibility with this other part over here is letting know, kind of helps open up the door that let people know that we work with anyone. I want to work with inventors. I want to work with makers, people that have an idea drawn out where we can help them build it. And so that helps me get a lot of walk-in work. It helps me get a lot of smaller businesses that just need products built for them, but don't necessarily need the help with design. I have a small section here of testimonials. Just helps people get a little warm fuzzy. Let them know that people have said good things about you. I think both of these I grabbed straight from Google reviews that I had online. I have a section just kind of tied into my Instagram. I'll probably take this away since I'm being more active with my Instagram and it's going in a slightly different direction, not directly aimed at customers. So this will probably go away soon. And then, like I said, the website is a funnel, and I have a form on the bottom of the website if you just want to send a quick note or question, as well as our address, email, phone number, and social media. Oop, didn't mean to click on that. And at the very bottom, you can see I have another spot. You can get on an email list, so I can at least get your contact information. A couple flags to let customers know we do use other services. If they want to look them up, let them, kind of gives them an idea of how we operate and more of our contact information. So we're going to scroll back to the top. We're going to jump over to the next page. So the pages I got are home, about us, gallery, and contact. So jumping over to the about us page, part of my approach to marketing is leaning into being a smaller shop a little bit. I found a lot of engineers at big companies prefer small shops because they know they're going to be faster paced. They can work with them a little bit closer and some things like that. So I'm trying to lean into that a little bit. So I put this together to be kind of give them the story of Better CNC. I started the shop in my garage 3 years ago. Our goal is to do things differently. I'm always on the pursuit for better. I don't believe in best. Kind of that whole spiel. But it gives people to read it. I've had people comment whenever they've called in saying they like my About Us page. They feel like they kind of know a little bit of how we came up and how driven we are. I do have a mission statement. I think it is good to have a mission and a vision as you're starting your shop and putting it together, because it, as fluffy as that sounds, it does help. Let's say you don't want to just start a shop to be a shop. If you want to start a shop and survive as a shop, you need to have some broader direction, and your mission and your vision do that. I'd say part of my mission is just always innovating our processes to always improve. Our vision just kind of leans into that a little bit more. Just saying, like, it's insatiable. We always want to improve. We always want to get better. So I have this on my website, as well as some more nice pictures that we took of parts we've done to let them know, give them the broad strokes of what we strive to be. And then this is just a personal touch I wanted to add on. Being a smaller shop where I don't have a big long tail of how we started yet, I think adding a little bit of a snippet of why we are the way we are and where I personally came from, since it's just me here, I think it's important that for the customer to know a little bit more about me personally. This is a nice touch. I've actually had people call when I say Better CNC, this is Jesse. They're like, oh, is this the Jesse from the website? So it's noticeable. It sticks out. And that's what you want. You want to stick out with your website. And then again, we have a get in touch button that opens up your email. We have a link to socials. So let's move on to the next page. The gallery, that's a page. I think this is just kind of a generic page everyone should have. And it's just pictures of some parts we've done. Nice thing with Wix that I found out is you can actually slip videos in here. And I think that just gives it just a little bit of extra bit of polish. Instead of just being a generic pictures laid out, you actually have a little bit of activity on it. Draws the eye a little bit more. But that's pretty much else. Just kind of, and the intention of this page is to give the customer an idea of what you can do. On this, I like to pick parts that are funky looking, odd shapes to let them know we can do complex shapes, detailed so they could see, and also we do a lot of enclosure work, so I wanted to make sure I have a picture of an enclosure to help bring in those customers. We do a lot of automotive work, so I wanted to make sure I had a picture of an automotive part. And we do a good amount of plastic. Just kind of don't just throw pictures up here, but throw pictures with intent. I'd say, here's another automotive part. And this is just a simple one. I'll probably swap this out soon. But each picture kind of has an intention behind it. The videos are just to draw activity, but otherwise I intentionally place an enclosure right in the middle. I intentionally put automotive parts at the top and bottom because we do a lot of that. And I wanted a complex piece at the top. Next page we have is just to contact us. I also have another opportunity here. If you want to get on our mailing list, if you made it all the way to the contact us page, just another opportunity for me to get more customer information into my system. But same thing here. We have links to socials. We have a request a quote page, and I'll jump to that next. Something else I have on here, and if you have any questions on these, let me know. But I use virtually every service out there. I've listed on ThomasNet. I'm on MFG.com. Let's say I have a tie into my Instagram, and then I have what I call a rapid response, which goes to my quote form. So speaking of that, let's jump over there. And this is just kind of a generic page to have. You want the customers to know they can reach you. Here's where they can find the information to do it. So I do use paperless parts for my quoting. I think it's super useful in helping you standardize your quoting process. But a very big piece of that for me was the customer experience. Paperless parts gives me the ability to have this nice quote form on my website where they can actually upload the information, put the quantity, the materials, everything they want here, which gives them a warm fuzzy that I just have an advanced system. It gives me, reduces a little bit of work on my end because I don't have to select some of those details. The customer now does that for me. And whenever I send a quote from Paperless Parts, it has a digital checkout process that the customer can use, which looks really nice, gives me a step above other shops, and is kind of a feature of convenience. All these other shops sending quotes, they have to email back and forth, PDFs, how do you want to pay? I have a checkout process where they just select what they want to buy, hit checkout, and can walk through it on their own. I don't have to do anything. But I wanted that feature on my website just to help me stick out. They don't just see a form saying, put in your name, put in your email, stick on some attachments, and we'll get back with you someday. One other thing Wix gives me is a Let's Chat. I actually want to turn this off. I did this when I was first starting out because I wanted to make sure I had every possible way of accessing, but this tends to get just a lot of spam, robots that wander the internet. But that's my website. That's some of the info I put on it and why I put it there. One thing a lot of you other shop machinists may notice that I don't have on my website is an equipment list. I've talked to other guys about this, and it's something that it's a pet peeve of mine. I don't like equipment lists on websites. And the reason I don't like that, there's a couple reasons about it. One, most of your customers have no idea what any of that is. They'll see a list of gibberish. It's like if somebody listed up all the different brands and types of sewing machines. I don't know how to sew. I don't care. If I need something repaired, I'll send it to a seamstress and just let them fix it. I don't care how you do it. Another thing is if the customer does know what they're looking at, to some extent, they would see that I don't have a 5-axis, which a lot of times a customer may see a part, they may have a part and say, this has to be done on a 5-axis, when in reality, it doesn't. And oftentimes I can quote 5-axis work competitively or cheaper than 5-axis shops would quote something. So I don't want my equipment listed so that customers are making that decision on my behalf. I want them to see the parts on my website, say, I think this guy can make the parts that I need based on what I've seen on their website. Let me send it to them and give them the opportunity to know a bit if it's outside of their capability range. So a lot of guys list it. You can list it if you want to list it. I think it's more disadvantageous to list what equipment you have. And also starting out, when you don't have a lot of equipment, it's going to be a pretty empty page, and that just doesn't look very good. So I don't list my equipment. I don't have any intention of listing it at any point. And that's that for that part. But whenever you're building a website, just think about what your customers want to see. This isn't a website of just let me throw up here's some pictures of stuff I've done. Here's the machines I've got. We're a machine shop. We do work. You want to aim it at the customers you want. If you do that, I'd say I've had a surprising draw on my website where I don't do outreach. Customers typically find me. Knock on wood. Hopefully it stays that way. But I've built my website to try and make it look like if I was one of my ideal customers looking for a shop, I try to make my website what I want to see as that customer. And if you do that, it becomes a natural sales tool for you. You just want to make sure you give them opportunities to submit their information and reach you. But that's all I've got for this video. If you have any other questions, reach out, let me know. Have a good one.